Good day. Welcome to King William Rose Everything. Today we're going to take a look at this generic component tester. It says transistor tester, but it tests other things: transistors, resistors, inductors, capacitors, those kind of things. You can jam it in there and test it, and I'll tell you kind of its specs. And this is actually pretty good. I've used it for a while on some stuff, and I've been impressed. These are fairly inexpensive. Like I said, you get them on eBay. And I think there was somebody had made a real one, and they came up with some open source stuff and knocked it off. And you'll see when we boot it up what it looks like. And right off the bat, you'll kind of know it's kind of a hack, but it does work really, really well. And for the price, these are like $30. You really can't go wrong. So let's turn this sucker on. Oh, and the one thing I want to show you, it says CE, made in China. So CE means nothing. From China, but little ZIF socket, and if you don't like the little ZIF socket, you can take it out, and you can see the ZIF socket has the little 2 rows, where the component tester actually has, let's see, 4 rows, so you can take out the ZIF socket and plug in your component. So if you got some pins that are really close together you don't want to bend, you can stick them in here. So that's kind of the idea, is basically, let's see, get this back in here, a little spot. Get in there, baby. There. You can plug in your component, lock her down, test it. And I had mixed results with it. Sometimes you get a good connection, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just plug in the holes. Just depends on what kind of component you have. So let's just do a quick boot and turn it on, see what she looks like. Off, on. I guess still got the little tape on here. That's why it's kind of shiny. And bam. And you can see right off the bat. Let's do it again. Get you a little closer look. When they do the Transformers logo, that kind of tells you it's not really an official device. You can see as it boots up. Let's do it one more time. Off, on. Transformer logo. Transistor tester version 2.1. Battery. Every time you turn on, test the battery. It says the voltage, 9.3 volts. And no unknown or damage. And that's because there's nothing in Mr. Slot. So let's take something fun like an inductor, Mr. Inductor. And we'll stick them in Mr. Slot. Get in there, Mr. Inductor. Hello, Mr. Inductor. Get in the holes. Get in there. Oh, it's got some solder on this guy, so there. And we'll turn her on and test it. Test. And see, it boots up. Test the battery. It says testing. No unknown or damaged. I don't think I got it in very well. Let's try it again. Yeah, this guy's got some solder on his pins, so I'm thinking maybe just because. There we go. She feels like she's in there now. Oops. Test. There's battery test, testing. And it says it's an inductor. And you kind of see its little specs. It shows the little logo, kind of what it suspects what it is. And what I'll do is show you the pins that it's plugged into. So if you have like a transistor, say, has three legs, I'll show you what leg 1 is, 2, 3. This one's showing I got to unplug port 2 and 3. If you look over here, you'll see he's got some numbers. 1, 2, 3, and 1 or 3, 1, 2, 3. That's along here. So you kind of guess, whatever's in 1 will show up over here in 2, 3. And after a while, it's got a little timeout. There's no settings, it just times out. So I guess that's just to kind of save your battery. So let's test another little component. I got a 100 microfarad capacitor. 100. 100. And I soldered on some little legs because this guy, his legs were a little short, so just so we can plug them in. And like I said, this is where this one would come in handy. Since these little pins or little legs were too short.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
These little legs are so short, you could just plug them in the holes. But I like to plug them in Mr. Socket. Plug them in. Oops. Come on. Get in there, baby. Plug them in that hole, and then unplug them in. Oops. this hole, 1 and 3. I think she's in there. I'll lock her down. And she's in there pretty well. Test. Battery test. Testing. And it says it's a capacitor. 100.2 microfarad. And you see it's in port 1 and 2. And she's in port 1 and 2. And so that is accurate. So it looks like, that's a good way to test these things, especially if you're kind of not certain what it is and you just want to do a quick test. You can plug your little component in there, like resistors and these little capacitors, as long as they're discharged. I don't know if you plugged in a charged one, what would happen. But I did just charge this before I plugged in, because I didn't want to damage it. But you can kind of see it comes in handy. And especially if you have something, sometimes you see a resistor, you can't tell what it is. Little stripes are marked off, or maybe purposely they mark the stripes off, so you put the wrong stripes on just to screw with you. You can kind of tell what the device is or what it really is. Same with the capacitors, especially if you're not sure if it's good or bad. I mean, you can take it for what it is, but at least it's a good quick test to determine, hey, is this component good or is it bad? But I really like this guy. Like I said, it's kind of, I think somebody had made an official one, and then of course the Chinese or whoever. Let's see, who was this guy? Modified by, let's do this again. This is right here. Wiwit. Let's see. This is modified by Wiwittem. So whoever Wiwittem is, apparently that's his code that he put on here. But it's pretty surprising for what it is and what it does, I highly recommend something like that. It's a good thing to have in your tool bag. Just like I said, you want to test a component. Bam, jam it in the hole. Test it, away you go. There's no thinking it. It tells you, emitter. It'll tell you what's collector. So if you're not sure what pin does what, it kind of figures that out, and it does a really good job. I've had a couple misreadings, but a lot of times it's misreadings because this guy is a little loose and he's not plugged in all the way. But it is a really, really good component. Go on eBay if you're looking for one. Amazon, I think you can buy them, but pretty much these are eBay type items. And like I said, maybe $30. Not a lot of money. It's a 9-volt battery, and of course, it's Chinese, so but they're all basically the same thing. They use the same display. I've seen some of these that had a green display, but pretty much most of these they have the blue display. I think there's some like a yellowy green display. Maybe it's a newer model or a different version, but this one works fine. So check it out if you're interested. A nice component tester, really handy. So anyway, have a great day.